Hi, Kawe.
Hi, Anthony.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for doing this.
You're welcome. I'll do anything for my brother.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
My name is Refiloe Raphasha, or my middle name is Kawagazi. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently studying chemical engineering at Stellenbosch University, and I am in my third year.
Lovely. Can you take us through your high school?
My high school?
Yes.
I went to high school. Can I mention high school names?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
If you want to give them credit, I don't mind.
Okay. I went to high school in Polokwane at a high school called Capricorn High School. I was there for grade 8 and grade 9. Then halfway through grade 10, I left as I got a full scholarship to go and study in the US for one year. So I did that from August of 2018 to June of 2019. Then luckily while I was in the US, I went from grade 10 this side, and when I went that side, I got promoted to senior year, which is grade 12. So by the end of my exchange year, I had obtained a US diploma. So when I came back, I applied to South African universities, and I got into Stellenbosch for chemical engineering, and the rest is history, basically.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the US.
My experience in the US?
Yes. I saw that you did a little bit of work as well that side.
Okay, yeah, we did volunteering work. We on a student exchange visa, you can't actually work. So yeah, but we did a lot of volunteering. I got in over 120 hours of volunteering that side. But I was placed in a city called Toledo. It's in Ohio, and it was quite a nice experience. Although it was a very conservative city with like most of its population were older, but it was a very nice experience, especially with the people who were coordinating us. Got to see a lot of things, got to do a lot of things, got to travel, got to participate in a lot. Like I said, volunteering. I got the opportunity to go to hospitals and check out operations, like stand in the operation room and see what they're doing. Yeah, no, it was absolutely an experience I will always cherish. Taught me a lot about myself, taught how to stand my feet, how to find my ground and be independent, because I had always lived most of my life in a very close comfort zone, where everyone is where everyone could, reach out and save you, and that side I just had myself. So yeah, it was an eye-opening experience, and I enjoyed every single moment of it. I'm planning to go back as soon as possible, but yeah.
Yeah, can you maybe tell us more about the voluntary work that you were doing?
The voluntary work included working in hospice, so just helping around where we could in hospice. We also.
What does helping around where you could mean?
In hospice? So we couldn't do any like medical work or nursing work per se, but like putting up flowers or just going to the patients and saying hi to them, having a chat with them, moving stuff around. Basically just like the feet and hands at the place, helping with whatever we could.
Wonderful.
But yeah, mostly like because the patients did enjoy having like that extra energy around, or younger people, they definitely did enjoy it, and would have singing things for them, or go around, give them flowers and give them gifts for which they had received. Yeah, so that's what they did at hospice. Also, we went around to shelters and helped them. We did soup kitchens, soup kitchens, and yeah, stuff like that, basically.
What did you take from that experience of working?
Of volunteering that side? it's volunteering all in all. It just shows you how one privilege could be. With hospice, it's how you shouldn't take for granted the little times that you have and the little moments that you have with your loved ones and which you have on earth, really. It was just an experience which taught you to appreciate every single little thing and not to take anything for granted. Like the scholarship alone was quite the huge thing. So it's just a matter of not taking anything for granted.
Beautiful. Tell us more about what you're studying, chemical engineering?
Chemical engineering. So I quite literally fell into this degree. So all my life, I had always grown up wanting to be a mathematician. Ever since primary, I'd always told myself, I'm going to be a mathematician because I grew a love for mathematics at a very young age because of my mother. So, and then I had to apply to universities, and then I did apply for applied mathematics at most, if not all, of the universities I applied to, but I enjoyed chemistry. So I thought, okay, there could be a second option. If the maths thing doesn't work, I could just go into chemistry. So I applied for chemical engineering at Stellenbosch, and Stellenbosch University is the only place I applied for chemical engineering. Everywhere else I applied for biochemistry, but Stellenbosch didn't have biochemistry. And when I typed in chemical engineering came up, then I was like, well, I guess I'll take that, and now I'm here 3 years later.
How do you feel about the degree?
The degree, it's definitely not for the faint-hearted, hey? I've been on quite the journey. I am quite glad that I took it. I'm very grateful that I end up not doing maths, but yeah, it's a tough degree, definitely. But if you enjoy it, if you truly do enjoy it, then you'll be fine. It's so interesting being able to see taking the theory into practicalness, and definitely with the world around us. Like, it's such mundane things. You're like, how come you're able to clear water? How does water treatment work? Or how do they make soaps? How does everything work? And being able to see the theory which goes into that, and being able to do it yourself and be like, actually, I can make this. I can do this for myself, you know. So that's it's a good degree. I've had a lot of sleepless nights because of it. I have had non-existent weekends and holidays, but I am happy where I am. Yeah.
On the note of holidays, I know you do like some interning during the holidays. Mm-hmm. Can you take us through the experience on the first year and on the second year?
Okay, so during my first year of my degree, I didn't do any vacation work. I didn't do any of that. Then in my second year, I got a bursary from a water treatment company. And then I started doing vacation work in that December, which is last December of 2021. So last year I was at the head office, basically just getting the admin part of my degree. So just figuring out the business side of the degree. There isn't only the plant and mixing things or testing things out, but there's actually still the business side of it. So yeah, in December I was seeing the business side of it, how they go about with that, how it is actually a profitable business. And then these last 2 weeks, which is in June of 2022, I was at the plant, one of their water treatment plants, which they do for one of the mines, and that was very quite a nice experience, especially this year. I'm quite glad I went this year because it's stuff I had just learned in the previous semester, and now being able to see that physically, and like I said, being able to see, wow, I can actually solve that. I actually know what's going on there. So on plant I was just in the lab, we're testing samples, we're checking for different elements, and testing how, like, as they're cleaning the water or as they're purifying the water through different stages, how the different elements and components of the water like become more potable. Or reach a potable stage. I was also with the operator, seeing what he does on the plant and walking around, all of that in the control room where they control all the flows and see what's happening out there on the screen. So it does a very nice experience, and it showed me how much these people, like I said, the operators, it's mostly people who don't necessarily have a background in chemical engineering, or don't have much which they studied on, but they have so much knowledge. They have way too much knowledge, and it's like you can study this degree, but at the end of the day, you do need that practical experience. You do need to be on plant to actually get a grasp of everything, and their knowledge is quite good. Honestly, how much they know is quite astonishing from just being interacting with the plant on a day-to-day basis and able to attain so much knowledge, which honestly, I think they're doing just fine without the degree, but just being able to work there. So that was nice.
Lovely. You got 2 different bursaries on your journey. Somebody might look at this and say, wow, how do I be like Kawekazi if now I want to get a bursary to finance my things? What do you think works?
So with my US scholarship, I only found out about it because of my dad. For some reason, my dad was searching the web and came across it. So that one, I don't know, that one was purely luck, I would say, in a sense. But I guess on his side, it was the searching part, looking for something. And with the one I have currently for my university, it's interesting because it was our university, our department sends out bursary ads which they get to us via email, and at that moment I wasn't necessarily looking for anything because I was being funded by NSFAS, but then someone just told me, like, why not, why don't you go with it, especially being in South Africa where job security is a thing. And knowing and having a bursary, although NSFAS was paying for everything, it was a full bursary, I still did not have the job security, unlike if I had a bursary. So someone was like, why don't you just do that? And I was like, well, I did it, not because I was actively looking for it, but it was just like, just do it. So I submitted my application like the day it was due. And now, and then they called me like a month later, like, would like for you to join the company. So one advice I would tell you from my experience, I would say don't let anything pass you by. Don't feel like, I'm not good enough for this perhaps, or maybe it's not the time for me, or I don't necessarily need it. It could end up doing a lot for you. Like, honestly, I'm quite glad that person told me to apply for this, because they have helped me grow personally and in my degree. They are very wonderful with mentoring, always checking up, offering help where needed. And it's not just the job security part now anymore. It falls onto other aspects of my life now. And that's what I was grateful for. So just go for it. It sounds very mundane, sounds very corny, but go for it. Honestly, just go for whatever comes your way.
Yeah, but that means you have to like have good grades, right? You can't just go for it.
I mean, obviously. Everyone has a minimum requirements. For this bursary, I think they wanted a 60 or 65% average for every year you had in tertiary. By the way, 60 sounds easy, 60, 65. But no, it's quite the tough one. But there are minimum requirements for bursaries.
What do you enjoy about being on site, on a plant, interacting with people who are doing what you want to be doing in a couple of years to come? How was that experience for you?
To be very honest, I sometimes get impostor syndrome because especially I don't know if it's the people in this company specifically or all the engineers around are like this, but they're very, very passionate about their work. Very passionate about it. And obviously I'm not at that stage yet. So I do have a love for my degree, definitely, but I feel like they are on a whole other level. So sometimes I'm like, will I be able to do this? Will I be able to stay in this and just be as passionate as they are? So it gets you thinking, but the more time you spend with them and the more time you spend on the plant, and now I start like thinking about stuff and be like, why don't they do this here? Why don't they do this here? Why are this operating like this? And then I'm like, okay, but I'm also showing the interest and some sort of passion for it. So, I hopefully it'll grow in me. Fingers crossed. But that's just what I've been dealing with lately, the impostor syndrome. But it's also validating myself that no, you do enjoy this. You went through 3 years of university now. You have found that this is for you.
We do need that self-validation. I think it's imposter syndrome. A lot of people suffer from it. It's not just in the engineering phase, but it's almost everywhere. In the creative space, you'll find that somebody's super talented, but they still doubt themselves.
True.
Yeah. So I wanted to know, did you have any culture shock when you moved from South Africa to the United States?
You get culture shock if you move anywhere, honestly, outside of your normal area. I also got culture shock when I moved to Stellenbosch. So, definitely.
Tell us more about the culture shock in Stellenbosch.
Okay, before I get to that, in the US, it's a whole different country, so it's a new lifestyle and everything. For me, it was when you were speaking to someone who's older than you, and you see in South Africa, you look down, or you try to avoid their eyes, but no, they want you to look at their eyes. You have to look at them straight. I can't. I need to go down. It has different things. How you spoke to people, the kind of lives people lived, like what their definition of poverty is or a poor person is, like the lifestyle and everything. That was quite an interesting one. Then to Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch is mostly referred to as a little Europe, and trust me, it is a little Europe. It definitely doesn't feel like a South African city or town. Definitely, it has its own lifestyle and its own living, and you just feel like you're in this posh place. It's very, very weird coming from, Botlhokwa and now coming to this posh place with this posh life. Yeah, it showed me the definition of, privilege. Like, okay, I knew there was a thing called privilege, and I thought I knew what it is, but yeah, once you get there, you know what privilege is. you get to see a completely new, different meaning to it.
Beautiful. In closing, can you say some words of motivation to maybe a struggling student?
A struggling student, like in engineering or in general?
In general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Words of motivation. If you're in a degree, which you know is not for you, but you know you need to make someone happy, you need to make the family happy, or you know you need to make someone happy or prove a point, then I would say get out of the degree ASAP. I had a first year this year who came into engineering, but she knew her heart wasn't in it. But luckily she was able to spot it very quickly, and she left and like, nope, this is not for me, so I'm gonna do what I actually want. And yeah, she's hoping to get into a degree she actually wants. So if you know a degree is not for you, please do you save yourself and get out of that. But if you know you have a love for your degree and you're passionate about it, it's just not working out, just stick to it. It will work out. You will push through eventually. If you have a love for it, you will find your way through it eventually. It's gonna be a tough journey for sure, without a doubt, but yeah, you're gonna make it through eventually. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for your time, Kawe.
Thank you. By the way, only he calls me Kawe. It's my feeling. It's my feeling.